everybody, welcome back to my channel, and my name is Tony, and you are watching my weight loss journey to lose 80 pounds. So today's video is going to be all about the reasons why low fat makes you more fat. So the reason why I say that now, everybody's like, all the low fat. So I went on a journey to try the protein sparing modified fast. I did it for 4 days, and that's all about I can handle. I'm serious. It was difficult to go from keto to that program. So I tried it for 4 days. So I found out, it's very interesting when I found out about my eating patterns. I never knew back when I was growing up that when I would eat, I was eating such large portions. And this is when I started gaining the weight. I was eating such a large portion. But I would always go grocery shopping for low fat. Everything, like low calorie, low fat. And I thought I was making the decision, a healthy decision, on what I was eating. So I would get the highest percentage in beef, 96.4, and all that. As high as I can get it, I would go and get that, like 90-10, on the beef. I would get chicken and low fat cottage cheese, low fat cheese. I'm going to be popping in a picture of one of the days that I ate. Look at the amount of food that I'm eating there. That is gigantic. But you will not even believe that I think that was only like 385 calories. I'll put the exact amount of calories. That whole plate of food that I ate. I couldn't get through it. Just the amount of the bulk of food. And now it just made me realize that when I was getting to the point of morbidly just obese, when I was getting to that point of being really obese, 242, I actually got up to like 246, I do believe, is the highest I was miserable at that weight. But I did find out a couple of things now that I wished I knew then about my eating patterns. I, back then, was a binge eater, a low-fat binge eater. And if that makes any sense, you're sitting down at your table and you have this big plate of food that is point friendly. Back then I wasn't on WW, but I have tried WW. And I'm not saying this, what I'm talking about is WW, because a lot of people have success on WW. But going down to the PSMF program, the calories they require is, I think I ate, it was so hard. They want you to eat around 800 calories for my height and age, weight that I am now. They wanted me to eat 800 calories of that food, of the low calorie food. When I went to embark on this, and that dish, it has, low carb cauliflower in it. It had egg whites in it. It had so much to that dish. It had shrimp, it had chicken, it had Brussels sprouts. It took everything in my power to eat even half of the bulk. After being on a low carb, high fat, medium fat is what I'm on, diet, it was so hard for me. But it actually triggered some very bad habits that I used to have. And then this week has been like an up and down roller coaster with this. So I did a 2 day in a row of this, and oh my God, I was so hungry, like angry, hungry. Um, the first day it was okay, and then I woke up the next day and I was so, my stomach hasn't growled in, well, probably a year. If that makes any sense. So while I'm eating my first meal, my stomach's growling at the same time. And I'm thinking, what am I, a bottomless pit? What is going on here? So I'm eating and I felt like the bottomless pit. And then not even an hour later, I was in the kitchen trying to look for something to eat. Now, take in mind, when I started keto, and I started my healthy keto, I told myself, I'm only going to eat when I'm hungry. This actually triggered me to eat more and more often. And those of you who watched my videos before, you know that I'm all about the insulin resistance and not eating as much. Don't eat unless you're hungry. Well, on this plan, you had to eat or you were going to die. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was going to die of starvation, and that's the way it made me feel. Um, so I went to the grocery store on the first day to go buy these low-fat meals. And I was always taught to go on the outside perimeter of the grocery store to get the healthy choices. Never venture in unless you really need it and you have a teenage son. Then venture into the middle. So I was like one of those people that was standing, like in the movies, you're standing there, but you're not moving, but everybody else is rushing by you at a very high speed, and you're in like slow motion, and you're looking around like, oh my gosh, where do I go? What do I do? I haven't shopped this way in so long. And let me tell you, the reason why I went on this, you're probably wondering, why did you do that to yourself? Well, I did this to myself because I hit a brick wall about a week and a half ago. I hit a brick wall, and it wasn't like a huge wall. Well, this one had been creeping up. So I had been the same weight. I was like wondering, okay, I'm exercising a lot. Maybe I'm gaining muscle. Maybe that's it. So I do walk every single day. I don't know. Maybe it was the weight loss. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, it's got to be that. And I don't know if you know, I'm one of those people that has to do like little experiments with myself and find out what's going on. I'm a I self-diagnose myself, I'm WebMD, and all that stuff. So, and just a reminder, I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional of any kind. I just do my own research and all that. So you do you talk to your doctor before going on the PSMF program, keto or any program. So I went to the grocery store, back to the grocery store, and I'm standing there. People are just, I felt like I was in a movie. I normally, and I'm sure you have seen this if you're on keto or felt this, that your moods are kind of even keel when you're on keto. You don't go up, you don't go down from the sugar highs, you don't go up, you don't go down from the sugar lows. That day, I was on my the first day, and I had just finished that big meal, and I'm sitting there going, I got to get more food because I'm going to starve to death. Yes, I am. And so I'm standing there, and I'm like, I'm completely lost. And now, take in mind, I know where the meat is. I know how to choose the low-fat meat. But the rest of the store, I was a new shopper that has never shopped before. I'm looking at all the, I swear I was in there for 3 hours. I was looking at all the labels to make sure there wasn't, because they want you to do low carb on this as well. Do your research on what PSMF is. It's low carb, low calories, low fat. So, yeah. And hopefully you're doing it in a clean way. Um, I started like making bad decisions in that store. Oh my gosh. You should have seen what was in my cart. I put some stuff back. I put some stuff in. I was like, oh my God, and then at the end, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to eat? Seriously. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take some of the keto, but a lot of the keto, like the veggies, I was, putting that in there, of course, because of all the veggies that I could eat. I put lettuce, I put that meal that you saw on the, on the video earlier. I had lettuce in there that was kind of sauteed in there so I can get my veggies in. But the mind freak that it does to you when you're on keto and then suddenly you're on this is major. Then I was thinking back to something that my doctor said. It just kind of boop in my mind. I was like, oh my God, now I know. Now I know. I went to the doctor one time for being overweight. And it wasn't an overweight doctor. It was just my primary doctor. And when I got in there, he goes, you weigh 242 pounds. What's going on? And I'm like, well, I'm fat. Okay. But, I didn't say that, but I wanted to. I'm just like, what do I do? And he's like, well, what are you eating? And I'm just like, well, I'm eating low carb or low fat. I'm eating 90-10 meat. I'm eating chicken. I'm eating, actually I was back then, I was eating a lot of rice. Good portion size, but it made me hungry. Like I would be fixing my meal and it would turn out a huge meal because I would never get full. It was the not the weirdest thing. It was just I told him, I said, this is just really weird. I'm eating a lot of food, but what do I do? And he says, well, what you're doing is you're starving your body of nutrition the way you're eating. And back then I was just like, he's crazy. You don't know what he's talking about. I'm eating so much food. I don't even know what he's talking about because my plate is full and I finished it all. Back then I was like, huh. So yesterday was a light bulb. I was like, you know what? There is something to that. Empty calories. It's like you have, or low calories in something like a meat or something like that with not a lot of fat in it. I'm not saying go hog wild with the fat, but there is something to it to put good fats in your meal to keep you full longer and to get you full. That's my thing, is that I've learned so much in the last 4 days that I have in the last 2 years that I've been, or a year, 2 year, year and a half that I've been doing this. So there is something to say for that. I don't feel good when I do the high fat, a high fat. Like if I have a coconut oil, and I'm going to put a picture of my meal this morning because I went back to keto this morning for good. I'm done with this little experiment. And let me tell you, the sugar spikes that I had that I don't normally have on a medium fat diet was huge. It made me so like anxious that I wasn't getting something sweet. It's a trigger for me. Low fat is a trigger for me. And I didn't know that till one of my friends said it. She goes, you know what? Low fat is a trigger for you. Low fat spikes the hangry, the sugar cravings, I actually wanted fat. I need fat in my life. The good fats like the avocados and avocado oil and things like that. It just triggered old habits that made me feel yucky. And I was doing my walk last night and I was like, it's taking every bit of energy just to get this walk in. And normally it would not. I'm not saying every day is a good day because it's not. But I noticed a complete difference in my mood, my well-being, even my stomach hurt. I did my like sugar levels. I checked those. My sugar was super high and I wasn't even eating sugary foods. That's the thing, is that does low fat trigger your insulin? Something to think about. Seriously. Does it trigger your insulin in a way in my body that is not good for me? And then the actual feeling of shame came in because I started thinking, I was a binge eater back then. I would binge on everything and think I was trying to be healthy on the low fat foods. And then it gave me an excuse to go eat some sweets. Like we were into these chocolate pretzels. I'm like, hey, I ate a low fat meal so I could have a dessert, and that was like an everyday thing. I'm trying to be honest here. It was an everyday thing of chocolate pretzels because I gave myself permission to do that and it was not right. And it's taken me all this whole time to realize this, that no, Tony, that's not the way to do it at all. So in closing, I'm so glad I went through this little experiment, this little journey of mine, because it really has helped me. I wrote these down like on so on keto, basically you eat less bulk food, and by putting just a little fat in there, a little good fat, helps so much with the hunger. And with me, I don't know about you, but the hunger was a big thing to me. I have to get full. And that is a win. Basically, if it's going to help you through your journey and it's going to help you get to the next day, that is a win. Total win for you. It doesn't trigger the sugar highs, the sugar lows, the afternoon crazy. You feel like you've got to have something in the afternoon. It triggered that. It triggered shame, old eating habits. It triggered all of that. It didn't bring on any anxiety of hunger or anything like that. It is the right way for me to eat now. I have existing fat on my body that I need to burn. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do the PSMF program, was because to get my body to start burning my existing fat. It may take me a little longer to get this weight off the way I'm doing it now on keto. But it's for me. It's the right way for me. And I know that. So, if you enjoy this video, please push on this video and watch this video that I did a couple weeks ago. You'll really like that. But don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. I will see you guys on the next time.